David Tafuri is a lawyer and former foreign policy advisor to the Obama campaign, and he joins us tonight. Old enough to remember when it was the party of peace, now the party of mandatory war. So I'm just wondering, why shouldn't we have a debate about Article 5 in NATO, which obligates the United States and all members of NATO to defend the interests of other states? So why should we be on the hook for the territorial integrity of Estonia and Latvia? Seriously.
There's nothing wrong with having a debate. We're going to have one right now. I hope it'll be educational. It's important to note that NATO has been successful in the past as a military and intelligence sharing alliance, and also as an alliance of like-minded countries. You admitted that in your opening, that NATO was successful in defeating the Soviet Union, right?
Yes.
Now, NATO is still needed. History repeats itself. Putin's Russia is not the same as the Soviet Union, but it's trying to do some of the same things. It's trying to stamp out rule of law. It doesn't believe in freedom. It doesn't believe in free markets. It's trying to spread a vision of a kleptocracy that will enrich Putin and enrich the other oligarchs. That's what they have in Russia, and they're trying to spread it to the rest of Europe.
I guess that's right. I mean, but how is that different from China, only in that it's less effective? So I don't think that Russia has taken over Africa or Latin America yet, or the Caribbean. China has. Well, but it's totally fine. It's totally fine to get rich from sucking up to Chinese oligarchs. Our whole ruling class does. But it's wrong not to defend Latvia against Putin, because why?
No, you're right. I mean,
I'm right.
NATO is also an alliance that's aligned against China in many ways as well.
Really?
So
what's
comparing Russia to China doesn't somehow make what Russia's doing okay.
No. What you're describing, you're trying to explain why it's in America's vital interest to start a nuclear war to defend Latvia.
No, I did not say that.
Well, that's what we'd be obligated to do.
It's in America's vital interest to defend other countries around the world that are trying to become democracies, that are trying to promote freedom, that are trying to promote individual rights. They're trying to protect human rights and, most importantly, protect rule of law. That's what Latvia, the other Baltic states that have joined NATO successfully are doing, and we should encourage that by extending that security umbrella to them, which is what NATO has done.
So in other words, our kids get to die for Latvia because it somehow protects the rule of law for them to do that. And I'm just asking, does the average American understand that we're on the hook for this? I think that's a real question, which is trying to be ignored. They're trying to shut down the conversation.
You have to look at history. If Latvia and the other Baltic states fall to an aggressive Russia, ultimately other countries in Europe will fall. And ultimately, it will come back to us anyway, just like World War II. It's these same arguments people made against in favor of not doing anything against Germany and the Nazis in World War II. The exact same argument you just made is what pacifists argue.
I'm not actually making that argument.
Yes, you are.
The Nazis don't exist, and neither does the Soviet Union. I'm making an argument rooted in 2019, which is where we are right now. And I'm very interested, since you brought it up, in what Western European countries do you think are at threat of being invaded by Russia?
Well, certainly the countries that have recently joined NATO, the Baltic states are a threat. That's why you brought them up.
But
other countries that are not yet part of NATO, countries that are not yet part of NATO.
The core of Western Europe.
Okay, Ukraine is not part of NATO yet, right?
But the reason part of the Soviet Union when I got married, like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, but it wanted to be free, and now it is free.
Lots of people want to be free. I'm just saying,
and it deserves to be free.
But in Western Europe, what countries, the core countries of Western Europe, NATO exist? Poland is not a core country in Western Europe. Not to bring you back to, and I like Poland.
Okay, so you're willing to cede all of Eastern Europe,
I'm not willing to cede
even the
anything.
countries like Poland that are allies that are part of NATO, and say we should only protect Western Europe?
I'm asking you sincerely.
Because once Eastern Europe goes, then Western Europe is threatened.
Okay, so you think there's a? I just want to. We're almost done. You think there's a plausible threat within our lifetimes of, say, the UK, Germany, Belgium, Liechtenstein, Switzerland, Spain, Portugal, being invaded by Russia?
I am not saying that. But what I'm saying is, if all of the other countries in Eastern Europe, including the ones that have joined NATO, fell, then, of course, the next frontier for Russia expansionism would be Western Europe.
So first they came for
obvious,
Latvia.
I think.
Yeah. Not obvious at all to me, but keep trying. Great to see you, David. Thank you.
Thank you.